our stuff sent out, get our bot in here, get our Discord stuff posted, and we should be good. So, alright, I think we're all good. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it's not August anymore, it's September 6th, and this is the September 6th Text Quest Devstream. I will now walk on screen because I need to do so. I'm also going to double check. This is Chris Ingerson, and making sure that I am not muted. Alright, so everything seems to be in order. Anyway, hello Anthony, welcome back. How are you doing tonight? So we are going to be doing more key binding stuff. Specifically, we're going to be integrating into Rewired. So I have done a little bit of reading up on Rewired. I have admittedly not done as much as I probably should have. So we're kind of going to be flying from the seat of our pants here. But the main things that we're going to do today is we're going to, one, try to use Rewired to control access information. So we're not going to worry about key bindings or anything like that. We're basically going to swap out any of the input manager.getAccess stuff for rewired.getAccess stuff. And once we have that working, we will then look into hooking up key bindings to remap key values in Rewired. And then we should be good and done with key binding, basically. Hello, Gelmega. Welcome back. How you doing tonight? So that's kind of the rough roadmap for us tonight. I am hoping that that won't be crazy. It seems like it's pretty straightforward what we need to do. It is a little awkward, but it's not really terrible. Just because of singletons and all that. But to start, so I had already started kind of messing around with Rewired, but I think what I'm going to do is instead of jumping straight into the game and just, well, you know what? I bet I can do that. Let's try that actually. So I've already set up an axis inside of Rewired, and this is just for horizontal based movement. So this would be the same as me doing A and D in the current setup, only now instead of using the built-in input manager, it's going to use Rewired. Now, that is actually going to require me to make some small change. Actually, it's not even going to be that. It's going to be FPS movement. I think it might actually be FPS input. Let's find out. Horizontal axis is equal to horizontal. I think that is correct. Yes, here we are. Okay, so we are going to, let's see, so instead of doing input.getAccess horizontal axis, we are going to need to change this a little bit. So I'm just going to make it so that the input.getAccess stuff is going to now be our Rewired code. So we're going to come up to here, and we're going to say using, is it just Rewired? Yay, it is. Oh my, there are a lot of sub namespaces. So let's hope that just the Rewired one is fine. Although actually, I guess I have their documentation pulled up here. It is, yep, just using Rewired. Okay. And I think I know what I can do here. So we're going to want to cache our Rewired stuff, which means that we're going to do this private. It is, what is that? Is it really just player? That's not great. Hold on. Rewired.player. Yep. Hey, that's not great. Okay. Then we'll call this player. So this rewired.player is the class that I believe holds all of our axis information. So data on, you know, what the horizontal axis is, what the vertical axis is, all that stuff. So for that, we're going to say player is equal to, let me look at their code again. It's going to be equal to re input dot players dot get player. And I'm going to assume that I want to give it player 1. Now I would normally assume 0, except I think 0 is the system default, so I don't think I want to do that. for now, I don't really see a need to expose this number. I think it can be a magic number, because we don't have multiple players or anything like that. I think we'll be fine with just the one. Um, just started another big, ambitious, long-term project, developing my own programming language, and maybe port my engine to it. That sounds like it's going to be a lot of work. Going full Jonathan Blow, man. That is a lot. Okay, so we have our player there, and now instead of calling input dot, let's see, we're gonna get rid of. So instead of this, we're gonna say, I'm actually just gonna go ahead and copy this and then paste it here. Okay, so instead of input.getAxis horizontal axis, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say player.getAxis and not that. It's going to be the same thing, so it's an action name, and I'm going to manually type it for now. I don't like doing that, but I'm going to do that just for now. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab this. We're going to change this. Okay, so I believe that might be, no, here we are. Let's go ahead and do that. So that should be all of my character actions that I need to do for horizontal movement. So if I just let this compile, we should be able to jump immediately into a continue scene, and I should still be able to move left and right. So cache override, welcome back. How you doing tonight? I'm a little disappointed you didn't beep at me first. I'm insulted. So yeah, while I like C++, it has some annoying issues, partially since it is such an old language, and it needs to be compatible with other code, so it makes C++ a bit annoying. Yeah. No, I mean, that seems to be the case for a lot of programmers, right? Is basically you go from like Java to C# to C++, and then you get mad with C++. So everyone's like, I'm gonna make my own language, and then most people don't. But I mean, good luck. I cannot imagine that making a fully functioning language is going to be an easy task. So I'm curious to see how that turns out. Beep boop. Thank you. See, now I'm complete. Everything's all right with the world again. All right, so let's go ahead, hit play here, and I'm really hoping that it'll be that simple and we'll be done. Well, not done, but like that'll be the implementation, and that's all we're gonna have to worry about. That'll be nice. Gonna be honest, learned of D from another stream, but it also has some things that I don't like D's module system. Every file has its own module. Yeah, D was what was the purpose of D? Because there's also like D and is it F#? Is that what it is? Like they're basically variations on C#, I thought, or maybe just variations on C. It's been a while since I remember looking at them. We're just going to go ahead and continue. Ooh, we got a null reference. Where did that come from? Wow, like all of it. Oh, okay. Well, that would be why. So I think I do want to say player 0 then instead of player 1. So I lost that bet. 0 does make more sense. I just had a gut feeling that 0 wouldn't work there. So F# is a functional language using .NET. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I thought F# was like a Visual C# sort of thing. Like it was meant to be a replacement for that. But I don't think that's actually the case. Okay. Yeah, I haven't really used F#. I just remember seeing it sort of mentioned in passing. So I guess if you're coming up with your own language, have you picked out a name yet? I am curious. I probably wouldn't be able to help or offer very much feedback on it, but I'm curious to see it. Yep, that seems to be it. And there we go. Wow, rewire. I hate saying rewired because re next to w sound is super weird. Anyway, rewired is actually pretty easy to implement. Like, we're moving back and forth like you would expect. I don't think that really feels any different. So, cool. Let's go ahead and set up the rest of the axes and all that. And then we'll be able to move into key bindings. And then I will have a Frankenstein monster of regular old input manager and and rewired input manager. Proglang, or proglang, I guess. That's fair. Although I will say, it doesn't quite have the punch as Malabolge, which, for my understanding, is the most deliberately difficult programming language to use. Do they have an A? Is there a programming language just called A? I thought there was one that was called B. Obviously, there's C, and then there's D, and then F. What about E? I actually think there is one called G, but I don't know anyone's past that. Short for programming language. Yeah, that's what I figured. B does exist. I thought I remember seeing something called B, but I don't remember what it was for. Oh yeah, I mean if you're counting any language that starts with a letter, probably. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up the rest of our rewired axes. So for this we have player 0. This is our existing player. I probably could just call it default player, but it's fine. We're going to go to actions. Let's go ahead and make a new action. This will be our... this is going to be an axis as well. Okay, then. You're going to not... Nope, you're frozen. Well, I'm going to take a drink, because I think it's Unity just kind of having a brain fart. There we go. Make this an axis, and we're going to change this to be called horizontal rotation. Our action will be horizontal rotation via arrow keys. I don't think I'm actually going to need to use the descriptive name because I'm going to be presenting all of this on the front end in our key binding menu. We're not going to use any rewired generated stuff. We're going to do it all ourselves. So it's going to be an axis. So horizontal rotation is going to be positive is right and then left. Let's see if that works. I'm assuming it's using the same naming conventions as the input manager. Okay, so that's all good. Let's go ahead and add new action. We're going to call this one an axis as well. This is going to be vertical. Okay, this is going to be vertical movement. Positive is going to be W, negative is S. Okay, I think that's good. Let's go ahead and do a new. This one's going to be an axis as well. And we're going to have vertical rotation. So this will be vertical rotation via the arrow keys. And I believe this was backwards from what I was expecting, so I think positive needs to be down and negative needs to be up. Okay. Which, now that I think about it, probably means that I need to have an invert rotation key or option. So many options that I have to add. Let's see. I'm gonna leave it pen for a week since it's very much a work in progress. I will take a look at this a little bit later, although I guess it's just the draft right now. Oh, but that's a very long draft page. Yeah, I'm curious to read through that. I've never actually seen I've seen parts of a specification for a programming language, but I've never actually read through the entirety of one before. So it'll be interesting. Um, okay, so we have our vertical rotations, and actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just say edit project settings, input axes, vertical rotation. So negative is down. Okay, so I guess I did have that backwards. Up and down. And horizontal rotation, negative is left and right. Yep. Okay, so that was right. Okay. I think that's actually the only ones that I care about, because every other action is either mouse movement, which is already fine, or it is individual individual key presses, which are automatically being mapped already, so we don't have to worry about those. So let's go ahead. I think we'll be good with just those, right? Yes, I am 90% sure. So we're going to save that. Let's go ahead and go back to players. Let's go to keyboard maps, which actually I think means I'm going to go to keyboard maps, and then I need to use these elements. So this is going to be horizontal rotation, which is going to be the right arrow key. Right arrow, okay. Let's go ahead and add a new horizontal rotation. It's going to be our left arrow key, because this is our negative contribution. Left shift, left Windows, I've already gone past it. Left arrow, there we are. It's only a small part, still working on it, and a lot isn't defined yet. I even forgot to save what I changed right now. Oh no! That's the worst when that happens. Okay, so we're going to add, I think we need 4 more things. This is going to be our vertical, and it is going to be our positive, so that's going to be a W. Let's go ahead and add a new. It's going to be vertical as well. It's going to be our negative contribution, and this is going to be our S. All right, we're going to do new, vertical rotation, positive, which is up arrow. And then end with our vertical rotation, negative, which is down arrow. All right, I think that is everything that we need. I am pretty sure. So if we come back to actions, we come back to players, keyboard maps, all of this is set up properly. So I think we're good. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to add the rewired input manager to be underneath game manager. I think I have everything that I need here. I'm pretty sure that it's up to date, so I'm going to, I guess, I don't know if I want to hit apply or not. I'm terrified that I've changed something now. But if I did, then I guess it would be applied here, so let's go ahead and just do that. Let's put this under here. We will have that be under our regular game manager. I'm going to hit apply here again. Okay, so now that should be part of our game manager prefab, so it was already not being destroyed on load, but now I know where it is. It's not going to be free floating. Changes made to this prefab instance will not automatically be applied to other instances of the parent prefab if you want all prefab instances to. That's fine. I'm only going to have one. So let's go ahead and collapse this. Let's change the rest of our code down here to be player.getAccess and all that fun stuff. So we'll pass that in. It's going to be vertical. Oops. Vertical. Which, of course, the fact that this is now a thing means that I'm going to probably have to write some attributes to help me sleep at night, because I already wrote those fancy attributes that let me drop or create a drop down from all of the input axes and all that, and I'm probably going to want to do something similar, even though I don't really need it for here, but I really don't like having it be magic strings. I hate doing that. It drives me nuts. Vertical. Okay. And while we are here, let's go ahead. Actually, I guess we'll let that compile. No, I was really hoping I could edit it before it got to the pop-up menu. Well, I guess I can manually look for it. So I think I want to look for FPS look. Is that right? Or is it FPS mouse look? It's FPS mouse look. Okay. So we're going to come back to here. Axis, that's all fine. That is also fine. Okay. So the alt axis. Yep, that's a magic one, so I kind of need that to not be something that's just a hard set string. Although I guess I could do it. Gross. Okay. I'm actually going to go ahead and do something else, which is let that compile. And I'm going to open up the player script. Because I have a script called player, and I really don't like having two scripts with the same name. That always makes me very paranoid. Which actually, now that I think about it, makes me... the fact that the other player script didn't show up is weird. That makes me think it's either a DLL or... well, it should be fine then. I just don't like having two of the same script name, honestly. It's a code organization thing for me. Visual Studio Code keeps the changes even if they don't save. Oh, okay, that's nice. Although I wouldn't depend on that because that's just asking for trouble. Anyway, so let's go ahead and you know what? For now, I think I'm just going to make it be a little bit more hard-coded. We'll come back and make this a little bit more, nicer to work with later. So for now, we're going to come up to here. We're going to say using rewired. Okay, pretty much going to do the same thing we did for FPS input, where we have a rewired player component, private reference that we put. I guess we'll put this here, right there, or actually, you know what? We can put it under cache transform. Put that there. Okay. Then on awake, let's go to private void awake. We are going to call player is equal to this exact line. Okay. And that means that when we call input.getAxis, we can say for alt axis instead of, oh wait, no, actually we want both of those things, don't we? No, actually we don't, because this axis is our regular input one. So we have, this is the Frankenstein thing I was talking about, where we're going to have some of our input be retrieved from the regular input manager, and then the key bindable inputs be retrieved via our input, or our rewired input manager. Okay, so this is going to be a magic one. This is for horizontal, so we're going to say horizontal rotation. And actually, you know what? For the time being, since I've given them the same name, I guess I could actually just straight up do that. So instead of making that something weird, since they have the same name, I can just call it alt axis. I can just use that. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. I think that is everything that I need as far as key bindings go. Well, not key bindings, but as far as implementing rewired goes, that's pretty much it. I really don't have a ton of axis information that I have to adjust, and that's really the only information that I need to change. Pretty much everything else is either individual button presses, which I'm already using. I'm already binding those, and I can retrieve them. Or it is axis information, which is what rewired is being used for, and that's what those four axes are. Everything else is just regular old buttons. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear this. Let's try playing again, running around, making sure everything still works, and then we should be good. We should be good to actually hop into key binding mode, so we'll be able to adjust this stuff. That will be a little more awkward, I'm sure. It will probably involve me messing with game settings and the key bindings menu, and basically having those both retrieve a player. But aside from that, it should be fine. So start. We'll go ahead and continue. Yep. Is this still at 4? Because that kind of seems fast. Let's find out. Game. Really? Let's try putting that down to 1. Apply. Okay, that's maybe I should keep 1 as the default setting for sensitivity there. Jeez. What's really weird about that, honestly, is like this feels like it should be a 5, not a 1. That's really weird, and especially because like that does not feel like it changed at all. So let's go ahead. For the alt axis stuff, is time sensitivity. Huh. Well, that's correct. Interesting. Why is it so freaking ridiculous? Maybe it's because it's not a time.delta time thing? Maybe. Alright. Let's go ahead, and I'm just going to add a little to-do here to check this out later. It's just weird to me that like a rotation speed of 1 is about what I would expect normal rotation speed to be, which I would think would make it more of a 5. But it's also weird to me that like our regular mouse rotation speed is a 4, not a 5. Like it's just I don't understand. The numbering is weird, and that makes it. If I think it's weird, and I'm the one who built it, and I'm the one who's been using it the longest, then it's going to be weird for anyone else. Those numbers don't mean anything sensible. Um, Okay. But it is working, so now we can actually try to set up our key binding effects. So let's go to key binding data collection, which I am sure I'm going to need. Let's go ahead. Yawn heavily. We can close key binding data, key binding button. We don't need enum extensions or this. Kind of opened up a bunch of scripts beforehand, and I don't really need them. Okay, I think we're about good there. Oh, and actually, while I have the script open, I need to add a safety check in here. So, little diatribe. But when I am generating property drawers or caching the property drawers that exist, I need to have a safety check in here for this, the get type stuff. It is possible sometimes for assemblies to fail to load their types, and that will throw an error which will break this. So instead of actually calling get types in the declaration for this, I need to do this is equal to new type 0 and say try. We're going to say types is equal to that. And then we're going to catch a reflection type load exception. Hit continue. And we will say debug.log string.format blah 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 0 message followed by exception.stacktrace. All right. So that was just a safety check that I needed to add to that. It's been on my to-do list, and I forgot that I had that class open, so convenient. Okay. So let's go to key binding options view, and that means we're going to have to do the whole player thing again, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. So we're going to say private, right, I'm not using rewired yet. Using rewired. Visual Studio Code was still open. Okay, that's not too bad then. So there's going to be rewired.player. Why do I keep saying required? Rewired.player. We're not going to do anything with that. Let's go ahead and do I have anything? I should have an awake button. Yes, there we are. And then we're just going to go ahead and say, oh, that's funny. I didn't add on hover exit stuff. That's super weird. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Accept button dot on hover exit. Add listener on hover exit. Okay, let's go ahead and just copy that twice. Boop, boop. Okay, and the last thing I want to do, well, technically the first thing I want to do is just say player is equal to players.getPlayer 0. Okay, pretty straightforward. And here's where it gets fun. Actually, you know what? I don't think I need this in the key bindings option view. Instead, I need this in my game settings class. Okay, so we're going to come back down to here. Yeah, this is kind of awkward. Okay, so we're going to come down to here. Paste that. Key bindings. I'm going to come down to here and say using wired. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, oh geez, that is not at all what I'm going to do. Well, hold on. I'm actually going to start cleaning out some of these functions because I don't think I need these anymore. So, I got some old stuff in here that I don't need anymore. Find all references. Oof, yeah, I've got some really old stuff in here that I need to fix. Yep. Oh my goodness, I need a clean house here. This is terrible. Well, at least it's not all bad. I can get rid of the ints. Yeah, this is fun, going back to my old code and seeing how terrible it all was. So convoluted. Yep, that's about right. All right. So at least I got some minor cleanup there. So we're gonna want to have a refresh key bindings. Oh, look at that right there. So let's go ahead and copy that. We're gonna paste this down here. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. And how this is gonna work is a little awkward, but it should work. So we're gonna say. Oh wait, hold on. I have not actually assigned my player yet. So give me a second and I will do so. Let's go ahead and copy that. Let's go all the way up to here, get rid of rewired, hit save, go back down to here. Let's see. Save, start should be down here. Let's go ahead and do this. That'll be the first thing we do. Alright, then when we refresh, we're going to do some oddities. So we're going to say player dot, let's see if we can do anything. Oh, oh, that's because it's a lowercase. Oh, right. Instance.player dot. Okay, here is where we check to see if we can easily assign anything. I am not sure. Let's go ahead and check out documentation on this real quick. Let's see. Best practices, reward editor, input manager. I'm assuming that we want this. Or rather, actually, let's see if we can find controllers enabling, disable, managing controller maps at runtime. That is what I want. Let's see. Remove, cleared, and reloaded. Can be useful if you want to load the default controller maps. Controller map different layout. Controller maps. Add map. Clear.controllers.maps. Clear all maps. Load map. That's actually not what I need. Hold on. Controller. Display and finding. For an action. Glyph. Currently accessed. Displaying a glyph. Contributing import. Handling mouse. Calibrating. Including changing. Displaying. Let's see. Saving and loading. Modifying input behaviors during runtime. That sounds promising. Come on. Here we are. Get the input behavior you wish to modify. Controllers.maps.input behaviors. Get input behavior. Okay, I guess that's it then. So dot controllers dot maps dot get input behavior, which I think is just gonna be 0. I'm pretty sure. That should be our default. And that's where it gets messy. No. Hold on. Is there not a get action? Maybe. Hold on. Let me bounce back to here. You can save input. Let's see if there's one more thing. Including controller, hiding input settings, optimizing performance. Okay. Let's go ahead and do Control F, and I'm just going to say. Perhaps. So I'm pretty sure. Let's go ahead and I guess let's save real quick. I'm going to look at my rewired editor. I'm actually going to listen to the editor beep at me and then show a loading bar for about 2 minutes. Actually, the loading bar will only be there for about 10 seconds. But then the non-loading bar, which is completely invisible, is going to hang around for probably about a minute. Or rather, it will certainly feel like a minute to me. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if the first month is just working on the language spec. That makes sense. I mean, it's good to be thorough when you're designing your language. Otherwise, you're going to run into something weird along the way, and everything will just come unraveled. Let's go down to here. So we have our players. That's player 0. We're good there. Then we have our actions, which is part of our keyboard maps, which I'm assuming then is... Well, hold on. So player 0, keyboard maps. This is our keyboard map 0, which is not a great name, admittedly. But I honestly don't know how to rename it, so that's kind of awkward. So we need to get the keyboard map, and then we need to get the action or new element. Okay. So let's go to dot. No? Okay, hold So this information is our key, our access contribution on action category. I don't think I actually want input behavior. So let's see what other get things I have. Dot get. There is a map. I'm going to assume it's 0 because that's the only one that I have. Then dot. Yeah, here's where it's going to get fun. Get button map. That doesn't seem wrong, but it's not showing me anything I would expect. Okay, let's check this out. Map, get input behavior method. That's not as useful as I would like. For press. Is there really only the one thing that says bind? No, there we go. But they are all clustered around here, which is not great. Let's look for runtime. That'll probably be pretty decent. Are you kidding me? Really? I don't believe you. Runtime. Setting loading controller maps. Which is kind of what I was doing there, but I guess we'll take a look at that again. I'm pretty sure that this is exactly what I was looking at already. So you think it would be this. Player.controllers.maps.add map, remove map, clear all maps, load map. It's not really... Yeah, here we are. Yeah, okay. So I do want the maps. I do want to get the map, and then I want to get a list of these. Get maps, controller type, dot mouse, 0. And then dot all maps, I guess. That's awkward naming, but okay. Yeah, oof, okay. That's not awkward at all. So I guess we're going to do this. Var maps is equal to that. And then we will say for int I equals 0, I is less than maps dot count I plus plus maps of I dot. Yep, there we go. This is what I want. So we need the key, and we need to assign it properly. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Let's see if I can do like get. Nope. Yep. Okay then. Dot key code. Yep. Wait, no. Hold on. Yeah, no, that's correct. Okay, so I need to modify this key code value, but I don't know how to determine which one is which, because it looks like it's just iterating through from top to bottom, which is questionably okay. Excuse me. Also gonna have to figure out how to support macros with a module system. Probably some kind of macro file that contains the macros that the compiler can use. Well, I mean, you're gonna have to figure out everything. You say it like that's the only thing that you have to figure out, or like one of the last things that you have to figure out. It's like, oh, there's a lot though. Okay, so we now have our key code value, but it's not necessarily everything that I need because I don't know how to iterate through this. Let's see if I can do dot get map. Perhaps this is what I want instead. So I want to grab a controller map. Let's go ahead and, well, we'll keep that commented out for now. So that gives us our map, which is a controller map, I believe. Yes. And then from that, we can call map dot like get element map, which is I'm pretty sure what I want. Okay, and that lets me set it a little bit easier. Key code, yes. Nice. Okay, so this is awkward, but I think it will work. So the thing is, like, I have to essentially use magic numbers here, and I just have to make sure that I know what these values are. So 0 is left, 1 is right, 2 is right arrow, 3 is left arrow. Okay, so I need 8 of these. So let's try this. Dot key code is equal to, so this is our left movement, I believe. Well, technically right movement. Okay, so we're going to want to say key bindings. Oh, actually, that's going to be instance dot bindings dot get binding of type move right. So we're basically going to be doing this. Paste 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this is going to be move left. It's going to be rotate right. Is that right? Or did I do rotate left? Okay, yeah. Rotate left. Move forward. Move backward. Rotate up. And then rotate down, I believe. That's what I want from all of that. Yes. Okay. I think that might actually be all I have to do. Which means that when I go to key binding options view, when we close, all I should need to do is call game settings dot refresh key binding settings. I think that's all I'm going to have to do. Let's test it and hope that it doesn't horribly, horribly, horribly break everything, because it probably will, let's be honest. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's a fun project. But that's good. I mean, as long as you like it. As long as it's what you are passionate about, that's all that matters. Also, I just noticed that my guy's mouth is frozen open for some reason, which was kind of weird. Don't know what was going on there. Maybe that was just my video stream, or my video freezing. And now we play the waiting game. I really don't like that in 4.10 they took away the compile wheel. I'm just like, no, I don't know when it's done. There we go. Okay, so in theory, we should be able to adjust the key bindings for our various movement systems now. In theory, assuming that I've set them up correctly, which I probably didn't. But if I did, then hooray! That will be, oh, yep, there's a null reference. So, yeah, that's a null reference there. Yep, that's about right. So, okay. Well, let's see. Map dot get button map. There's not an axis information thing, so I figured it would just be get element maps. Wait. Right, we want get element map, not get element maps. Get element map. Element map matches. Finds all action element maps of any kind that match conditions. Oh, that's nothing that I care about. With action name. Oh, interesting. Okay, I get what that's saying. Well, we don't really care about that. I don't think that would let us technically have an easier time assigning all those values, but in theory, this should work. Perhaps I should do this to loop through them all first. So map.get maps. Try to just get element maps. And let's see. So that returns action element map array. Action element map maps is equal to that. Let's just go ahead and loop through those real quick. So for int I equals 0, I is less than maps dot length I plus plus. We're gonna go ahead and say debug dot log maps of I dot, I think it's action ID. And I guess while we're at it, let's go ahead and just say maps of I dot descriptive name plus that plus this. And I think that will get us all of the debug information that we want, at least. At least I'm hoping so. It's entirely possible, actually, that map is null, in which case, well, we'll figure that out. I guess I can do this. Debug.log map is equal to null. And if that's the case, then I am not entirely sure what to do about this. Should I do, like, get? No? Okay. Well, let's just go ahead and check that. Which I will put right here. Okay. Let's let that compile and give it a test. I am tired today. Tends to happen if you have late nights. Or if you have to get up for work. At least tomorrow is Friday. Of course, then I usually sleep in on the weekends, but I'm having a friend over this weekend, so I won't be able to do that. So I'm going to be probably dead tired on Monday. All right, let's go ahead and save this. Let's see what happens. See if it destroys itself and the universe implodes or what. Well, we got our null reference again. What? Interesting. That was not at all what I was expecting. Game settings, refresh settings. Load. So it seems like my maps aren't 0 to 7, they're 0 to 3, which makes sense because they're axes. That's not great. Okay, so I'm deeply confused. Frack. Okay. What to do about this? Look at the range of the axis type. Huh. How does that work? Okay. Map dot. Okay, so the get element stuff totally makes sense. Element map ID must be different from action ID. Okay. Can I do like? Nope. Oh. 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 Okay, well that's not great. Gets the ID of the action to which the element is bound. So I guess I want to do like this. Get element map of 0 dot. Well, no, that doesn't make sense. Huh. Let's see. Is this in a DLL? This is in a DLL. Because of course it is. Fun. So that means what exactly? I guess let's go ahead and debug that. Debug.log. See if that's null. Oh right, that's something else. Key code. Actually, what was my other option there? Key code. Keyboard key code? That's interesting. These are seemingly the exact same thing, so why is it doing this? This is very weird. I don't know. Are they different? I guess they could be. Keyboard key code, only used for keyboard bindings. Return rewired.keyboard key code value. Oh, I see. Yes, that's a different thing entirely. So let's see if this element get element map 0 is null, and if it is, then that means I need to do something. Oh shoot! I didn't stop playing in time. Hello, Josh. Welcome back. How you doing tonight? We are currently working on implementing Rewired, and I am stuck trying to figure out how to actually access the key bindings for each action. That's the last step we need to take before we can progress. And actually what I'm stuck doing is waiting for Unity to compile. Oh man, yep. Weird stuff's happening because it was playing when when it recompiled. Okay, let's go ahead and clear this. Hit play. Doing pretty good. Just finished some homework. Nice. What was the homework assignment? All right, let's see. We got a null reference. All fine. It's all fine. So it is null, which really confuses me. Okay. Yeah, that's not really great. So I could yawn very annoyingly. I could actually, I guess, just loop through these maps and set it. It'd be weird. So in that case, it would be more like, because I think it is in the correct order, in the sense that it's move right, move left, rotate right, move left, or rotate left, and all that. So it's DA, right, left, WS, up and down. Yeah, it's all correct. So I can kind of just cheat and do this. We're gonna copy this for now, and then we're gonna comment it out. Paste this back in. So instead of map.getElement, blah 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 blah, we'll just say maps of 0. Let's go ahead and just do that. Or I guess I can do like this. Have everything be super borked for a second there. If this works, I'm going to be very surprised, because it seems like a really hacky way of doing this. Okay, let's give that a shot. Differentiating. Fun. Oh man, gotta stretch. Otherwise I'm gonna get carpal tunnel. Well, hopefully the homework wasn't taking you too long. / you're done with homework for the night. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, so this time I'm hoping there won't be a null reference exception. If we're lucky, that will be the case. Okay, it seems to have worked, only in the sense that there hasn't been any errors yet. So let's go ahead and let's continue. So everything still works. Rotations, all that, fun. Okay, so let's go to options, key bindings. Let's move forward to be Q. So accept. Let's go back, resume. W does nothing. Yes! Oh, interesting. Interesting. Left shift is not actually doing anything anymore, which is weird to me. Yeah, okay, so it seems like my sprinting is no longer functioning, which is odd. Let's go ahead and stop that. So we do have, oh shoot, I shouldn't have done that because now it's going to be Q. Whatever, I can change it back later. So that is, that works. I really don't like that this is how I approach it, but magic numbers, it does seem to function at the very least. Let's go ahead and we'll generate this in a non-garbagey way. So we're going to want to say controller map dot all maps instead. I am 90% sure that that will not actually affect me at all. So let's actually go ahead and do this. We're going to say just map dot all maps. Let's see if that works. Okay, get rid of this. Let's comment you out. Get rid of this. Okay. I'm 90% sure that that will do what I want. But only 90%. Only took an hour? That's good. Gotta love it when homework is not something that keeps you up late at night. That was the worst thing about college, honestly. And school in general, I guess. Although I never really did homework when I was in high school. I was able to do all that stuff in like the 5 minutes before class. But I think we're gonna go to bed. This is being annoying. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, Jelmega. Thanks for sharing your programming language too. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at that after the stream. It'll be. I'm looking forward to being illuminated. But yeah, have a good night, man. All right. So let's go ahead and clear this out. Let's try playing again. And then we'll figure out why our oh, you know what? I bet it is. I bet it's that our our motor, our FPS motor controller is listening for W press. It's probably listening for an input axis. Is my assumption. So let's go ahead and go to options, key bindings, hit accept. Let's go back, resume. Yep. So yep, it totally is doing that because I can sprint around like this if I'm using W. So not everything has been fully converted as it should be. Yeah. Some weird lighting. Anyway, so cool. We do actually have rebinding working though, and it does seem to properly handle it. It seems like our axis information still works. So cool. We just need to refine that interface a little bit now. Oh, and I probably should have thrown that up a long time ago, but I forgot. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. We can now get rid of that because we know that it is accurate. Let's go ahead and let's go to FPS input. Options.sprint. Options.crouch. I don't even... This is not even a thing anymore. Yeah. So this actually should probably be... It's not great. Yeah, that's not fun. Yeah, that's really not fun. Okay. I really don't want to use this options.sprint stuff. Because I basically need to instead go to like game settings.keybindings.get. Yeah, that's a little rough. It's a little very rough, actually. Is that going to be a performance hit? It'd be looping through everything instead of just retrieving it. That seems like it would be a performance hit. Okay. I guess the only real way I can test that out is let it compile, of course. So I'm a little concerned that trying to retrieve my key presses every frame might be a bit intense. Because instead of referencing a default value, it is instead going to be looking through all of the binding information and all that and just trying to retrieve it that way by going through for loops, which is not great. So I think what I'm going to want to do instead is let's go to game settings. And here's where it's going to get super weird. But hold on. So before I forget. Oh, right. Yeah, these are the ones that are actually being used. Let's actually, before I do anything else, let me open up the options script so that I can remove whatever I need or whatever I don't need in here anymore. Because wow, this is all stuff that I don't need. Okay. Yeah, wow, this is all really old stuff. Okay. So this was all the key binding stuff that I originally threw together. Let's find all references. Yep, that's about right. So this is probably a script that I can just completely get rid of, in all honesty. Hold on. All right. Well, before I do anything else, let's go ahead and save this. We're going to go to game settings, and here's where things get a little iffy. Really don't think I need this. Okay. Just trying to think of the best way to access these key bindings. I don't want it to just be like game settings.sprint because that's really weird. It would be better if I had like game settings.keybindings.sprint, which is awkward but better. But that would essentially be me coming up with a like a class, I guess, and then I would assign those values at edit time or runtime whenever those things are populated. That would function. That would work. It would just be weird. So I guess that would mean let me think. It would be like a dictionary. Oh God, which would be an int value. Oh God, why? Yep. Okay. So what I want is basically this. Let's see. On to key bindings, we're going to say, I really don't like this, private dictionary, which is, oh wow, I'm not even using system collections generic dictionary. It's going to be an int value and honestly another int value, because if you use enums, I believe, with dictionaries in Unity, it does this weird like bounding box thing, which is not as performant as just doing straight up int values. So we can just cast it to and from an int when we want to retrieve these things. So we'll just call this key bindings. Key bindings is equal to new dictionary. Okay. And what we're going to do here is we're going to come down to here. We're going to say region, key bindings, and region. Okay. Yeah, okay. This is going to be public static dictionary int key bindings get return instance dot key bindings. Let's go ahead and rename this to key bindings. And I don't think we don't need to do a set or anything like that because we're not modifying it directly. Oh, excuse me. We're not modifying it directly. But I do need a function here that's like public. Well, no, actually, we can just do this in our reset, can't we? So we're going to come down to here, and when we refresh key binding settings, I will actually need to assign all those values. So what we would do is we would say instance.keybindings.clear followed by instance.keybindings.add. Ugh, this is going to take a while. So we're going to say intcast from, you know what, actually here, the easiest thing for me to do is just to do this. For int I equals 0, I is less than instance.bindings, or keybindings.bindings.length I plus plus. Oh, okay. Thanks, Epic. I plus plus. Also, good God, it's taken me an hour and a half to install frickin' Unreal 4.20. Ridiculous. I do not understand why it took so long. Anyway, so we're going to loop through our bindings, and we're just going to assign our instance.keybindings based on that. So we're going to say instance.keybindings, not that, key bindings. Oh my god, that's terrible. Yeah, that's really bad. I'm going to rename this to like bindings. Instance.bindings.add based off of instance.keybindings.bindings of I dot ID? No, type. And we're going to cast that to an int. And then we're just going to copy this and basically do the exact same thing, but with key. Okay, so ints and ints. That's all we really need to do, and then I can simply say, let's go down to FPS mouse look, input. So instead of options.jump, we're going to say game settings dot key bindings dot, or no, I'm sorry, of key binding data, key binding type dot, yep, jump. Okay. And then we're going to have to cast that to an int. And then I need to cast that to a key code. Oh boy. Not sure how I feel. Actually, you know what? There's no real reason for that to be an int. I can just have that be a key code. So let's go ahead and go back to here, go to definition, we'll make this key code. Then we'll go back to bindings, go to definition, we'll make that key code. It's really only the ID part that's the problem, so that's all fine. Let's go ahead and let's go back to mouse look, sorry, input. And I guess actually let's just test that real quick. So this should allow me to jump. So if it doesn't work, then I won't be able to jump. If it does, then I should be fine. Everything should work as we would expect. Uh-oh. Really? Why? Time. Oh, right, because I'm casting it to an end, which I don't need to do anymore. Boop, boop, boop. All right. And if that works, then we're basically on track to replace everything and have it all be key binding or key bindable. Custom key bindable, I suppose. Jeez. I have the Killer Sound or the Killer 7 soundtrack stuck in my head. I've been listening to that recently. I just have the it's the theme from the Oceanside town. Just this like super upbeat like it's like harpsichord. I don't even know what it is. I want to say it's harpsichord. I just have that theme stuck in my head. Drive me insane. Okay. Click through here. Let's go ahead and hit continue. Wow, that was really bad. Why on earth did you fade in before you were done? Alright, cool, cool, cool. Let's rebind this. K. Or I guess I, whatever. Oh wait, no, let's not do that. Let's do K. Let's hit accept, back, zoom. Hooray! And space does nothing. Nice. So cool. We now have rebindable controls. Everything works. Well, not everything, obviously, but let's go ahead and go to options, key bindings. We're going to make this spacebar. Everything else is good. Let's hit accept, back, zoom. Space is once again the correct thing, and K does nothing. Nice. All right. I think we're going to call it there for tonight. I know it's a little early, but basically the rest of this is going to be me hunting down all of the very specific spots that I call input.getKey and all that, and then just replacing it. So I think we're going to just end it a little bit early because that's not going to be super interesting to watch, and it's going to be a lot of me digging around. So announcements. Saturday, I am not going to be doing my usual Devstream. I'm not going to be doing one this weekend because I have a friend coming over for the weekend. But we should be back on track next Tuesday. So next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, should be good to go. And yeah. So as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching. And I will see you all next time.